Anyhow, as the enemy would have it, you know, things just start happening. Yeah, they start happening. And yeah, anyway, so I'm here. I tried to do it another way, but it didn't happen. But anyhow, you can see my light ring through my glasses, and I need my glasses because I need to go ahead and get going. I promised to come to this live today to chit chat about a little conversation that I've been having with myself and others around pursuing purpose. Pursuing purpose and stop chasing money. Start pursuing purpose and stop pursuing money. I just want 10 minutes. And that's all I'm going to do today is just 10 minutes to talk about this conversation. And it started a little while ago, especially around the time that we got into the pandemic situation. And as part of my professional life, I always around money. I'm dealing with money. I'm helping people make decisions about money. And this money and this purpose situation just kept on resounding in my spirit. And so I'm like, what are we going to be doing about this? And so today I want to chit chat about start chasing purpose and stop chasing money. 3 keys to finding rest while prospering. Welcome, welcome, welcome again. I'm Celia Powell, CPA. This was supposed to happen on my page, but it didn't. But nonetheless, I'm here today. In work and in life, I began to notice again how we consume so much of our good God time with working. Valid indeed, because of course we have to take care of our families. We got to take care of our responsibilities. And so, working is a valid thing. But I really began to really dig deep into myself about this situation with money and pursuing and, things and so forth. And I just really, really, really started to think about, I work a lot. I do a lot. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. And at the end of the day, we will spend a good deal of our lives working 40, 30, 50 years of our lives, working to make somebody else rich and wealthy. And at the end of it, we're the ones who may have to still work and stand in Walmart and be a greeter after we've spent most of our good God time working for somebody else. And at some point, we have to come to a point in our lives where we have to really dig deep and think about, what am I really, really here for? Is it just to continue to accumulate and consume? God has put gifts and talents in all of us. And most of us do not get paid for those gifts and talents. And those gifts and talents wind up shaping what we call purpose, that thing that is inside of us, that He has placed inside of us. And He says in His word, let your gifts make room for you, and it will bring you before mighty men. So if He wants to bring you before mighty men, that means mighty men have a way of sustaining you with your gifts. But we have been conditioned in this society that we live in to work to build somebody else's empire, when all of us have an empire in us. I know so many people who are so gifted, so talented. If they don't sing, they write. If they don't write, they bake. If they don't bake, they cook. If they don't cook, they dance. If they don't dance, they draw, they paint, they write poetry, they write plays, they write movies. But we don't see that coming forth. But what we do see is the toil, 9 to 5, 10 to 8, or whatever it is that you want to call it. That's what we see. That's what we live. And we give so much of that good God time for somebody else, and then we're left empty. Or a house full of stuff that at the end of the day, when you transition on, they're going to auction it or it's going to wind up in Goodwill. So I'm here to just encourage my people, my friends, to start thinking about pursuing purpose. Again, those beautiful creative gifts, talents that are inside of you, and begin developing those, pursuing that versus always chasing money, which in the end winds up dry. And that's another conversation for another time. But back to this purpose versus chasing money. I promised you 3 keys to finding rest, because a lot of us are tired. And I will say that if there is anybody out there listening that's my friend, we are approaching that age where we are really seriously considering the R word, retirement. A lot of us are looking at that in the next several years of our lives. But here's the beauty of where we are in this time in history. Although many of us are approaching what historically has been retirement, a lot of us are not even ready. We still got the energy. The lifespans have been growing. You know, our health, we're sustaining longer in this life. And so when we reach that age of quote unquote retirement, a lot of us are just ready still for something more. So what is that more for you? Could it be the gifts and talents, the skills, the expertise, the excellence that is inside of you? Because here's the thing. The stats say that we're going to outlive whatever it is that Social Security is supposed to give us, or whatever retirement, 401k, 403b. And I want to caution you as your CPA about that, is that we have to be very mindful about these 401ks, these 403bs, because they are tied to a market, an economic market. Hey, Michelle, how you doing, sweetheart? Beautiful. She has a testimony of herself and how she's allowing her gifts to come forward. Go to her page if you haven't and see the beautiful artwork that's coming out of her. I've known her for a good part of my life. I didn't even know she had it in her, but it's coming out. And that's what happens when you avail yourself, when you allow your gifts to come forward. Stop being afraid. Stop being fearful. Show the world what God has put inside of you. Please sing that song, write that play, write that book. I want to see it. You can DM me, you can message me, my website, you can go out there and find me and let me know what you're doing out there. I have plenty of business experience. I can guide you if you don't know the path to monetize your gifts. But that's what I want to encourage you to start doing now. Now is the time. So anyway, I promised you 3 keys. The first thing is to take a pause. And I believe that there was a spiritual context to this pandemic, this COVID lockdown, shutdown. We were given a year to really be still, to think about some things, go deeper in ourselves. We were intentionally isolated, which quieted our environments to possibly just be still. And in that stillness, some of us heard direction from who I call the inner messenger, my inner messenger that communicates with me, because I know it's not me. There are directions. There's a path that's laid for every one of us. And guess what? We have a creator that wants all of his children prosperous, every last one of us. And he has enough to give to each and every one of us as if we are an only child. He wants to spoil us like we're an only child. He doesn't run out. So we have to tap into our inner messenger, that inner voice, and trust it. Take a pause, number one. And when you do that, you get your rest. He gives you rest in that process and refreshes you, gives you that courage, gives you that direction to try that thing. Go on out there. That thing that's inside of you, that thing that you did when you was a little itty bitty thing, that you was a bad ass about, that you know, but you got off path because you had to make the money. Because that's what the system wants for you to do. It wants you to get off path. It wants you to chase that thing over there that in the end leaves you empty. Okay, so the first thing is pause. The second thing, this thing right here between the ears, think. Take some time out just to think. Free your mind. Free your mind from all the external noise. The days that we're living in right now, there's so much coming at us. So much coming at us. So much vying for our attention. So much to keep us off focus. So much to get us off path. But we got this beautiful brain that we are just starting to understand how it works. Mindset. Thinking for yourself. For what God wants you to think about yourself, about others. Because some of us of a different tone. We have a lot that we have to overcome because there is a system that is intentional about oppressing us and keeping us from moving into the greatness by which we have been created. So we got to get that mind right. And if you think what's going on out here in this world is supposed to help you, no, it's just a distraction. So start thinking. Because what happens when we think certain thoughts, our actions, not even when we think certain, our actions follow what we think. Our actions start here. So we have to renew our mind like the word of God says. Do not be transformed by this world, but be renewed by your mind. Renew your thinking. And I know it's not easy because I don't get it right a lot of times, but I am intentional about my thoughts because as you continue on your walk and your journey, you know what's right and you know what's wrong. And you know when things come in your mind that are not right, time to shut it down because we will act on what we think. So think, gives you rest, gives you the right direction. Because again, what you do follows what's up in here. And if you don't like the outcomes that you're having in your walk and in your journey, I will encourage you to really pay attention to your thoughts. And then the last key to this pursuing purpose and stop chasing money thing, that is to do. Take action. And that's what I've been encouraging throughout this little conversation. Do it. Just like Nike says. Don't let Nike make billions of dollars just telling you just to do it. Do it. Who cares? Do it. Bring your gifts. Bake that cake. Make the best daggone cookies you know. And wait that we're living out here now, we can touch anybody at any time. We have a power. Use that power that we have to advance not only your life, but the lives of others. See, because what he's put inside of us is not just for us. It is to help others, to be a blessing to others. Maybe the conditions that we see this world today, quite possibly, is because we've all been put in this daggone box to be all the same way, to like all the same things, to wear all the same clothes, to buy all the same daggone shoes, making somebody else rich. But yet our generations are starving and impoverished. Time to change. See, them gifts are for also profit. So I want to encourage you to seriously think about pursuing your purpose, figuring out who you are in this equation. Especially my boomers and my late Gen X's. We only have, a certain amount of time for this thing, and time is now. And here's the 3 reasons why that we should. The first is our economic system here, and I just got a phone call, y'all, and it tripped me out what I was asked, because I don't pay too much attention to what's going on in this world with news. It vexes my spirit. It talks media, and that can be manipulated. So I try to limit how much I expose myself to. Helps me stay focused. But the economic system that by which we are existing in, it's going down, y'all. It's going down. What we knew before, it's not there. It's not really there. It's an illusion right now. And that's a conversation for another time. And I promise I'm going to be back because we're going to talk about some stuff. But I'm not going to get into all of that. And we already know we've been through COVID, we've been through the pandemic, and we've seen the impact of that. And that was something that we didn't know. We don't know what's up ahead. So what we do know is our gifts and our talents. We know what we can do. And that's what we have to trust because we know where that comes from. So the economic system, let's get ready. We got 401ks again. They tied to the market. This market is not promised to be here tomorrow. Come on. We don't know. So we can't depend on what we think we've earned and what we think that we have in our banking and our checking accounts right now. Because I heard that the American dollar is going through some trouble and whatever. And I can understand why, and you can probably too. We owe a lot of debt to a lot of people. And guess what? We fund our government by our tax dollars. And if you got millions of people out of work, guess what? You're not getting that tax income. I'm just saying, pure math, that's my CPA hat. I take it off now. That's my profession, not my passion. So the first thing, economics. But God promises to provide for us. And he provides through what he puts inside of us. The second reason is that, again, I alluded to earlier, the barriers for entry for us to touch millions of people across the world have been lowered. We are moving to what I call, and you might hear it as well, a peer-to-peer market. That means that each one of us are empowered to advance economically on our own because we are now what they're calling in a virtual century. We're moving into a digitization of our society. And COVID pushed us into it probably a lot quicker. And then such. So therefore, because of that, we now have in our hands the ability to make money through our purpose. I want you to think about that. Last reason why we should think about this is, again, I alluded to earlier, we're living longer. I'm not ready for no daggone polyester pants with seams in the front, sitting on the daggone porch, sitting in a rocking chair. I'm not. But biologically and chronologically, By my age, I should be. So there's something awesome that is also going on in this transformation of mankind and the evolution, is that we are living longer. And not only are we living longer, we're living longer healthier. We're living longer with longevity and energy and vitality. And the Japanese, there's a culture in Japan that has the most centenarians, people who live beyond 100 years. And why? What they have found and why they're living longer is because of this phenomenon called ikigai. And ikigai is a reason for being. So therefore, I don't use the R word, retirement, because that means it's a termination, it's the end of a thing. No, we have to have a reason for being. And that keeps us going. And because we're living longer, we need to figure this out, because we're in a place and time in history that we've never been before. So we have to begin to create our own communities, a new world that supports this longer lifespan, where we're not ready to go sit in a rocking chair or check into an old folks home. Excuse me, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but if we're not ready, we're not ready. And if we think somebody else is going to create that for us, you're being misled. So we got to do it for ourselves. Tap into your purpose. Bring those things alive. Bring them forth. And so that is about all that I have today. I don't know if I'm 10 minutes. I promised only to do 10. But what I will say is this: if I am over, forgive me. I will always want to be a good steward of a time and respect your time. I promise to come back. I've been testing some things with doing a couple of lives, but I promise to be back and just to have conversations with my friends. My followers are going to pay, but my friends, this is all just for us. I love y'all, and I want us to excel and to thrive and to prosper and to receive the promises that have been given to us. I want to leave you with something that resonated in my spirit this morning, and it is: great leaps are achieved by taking small steps. Great leaps are achieved by taking small steps. I want to encourage you to take your small step today. Hit me up, DM me, message me. My stuff is in my bio, out there on Celia Powell CPA. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you're doing. I want to see these gifts. I want to see writings. I want to see poetry. I want to see paintings. I want to see it. Bring it to the world. Show the world how much of a badass you are. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless you.